There were hopes that Robert Serra from Guinea or Peter Tuxen from Ghana might be chosen.
We have no preference. We will happily accept whomever the cardinals choose to lead us. The Pope is the shepherd of the Universal Church, and we remain faithful to that idea.
Tomorrow, the crowd gathered in St. Peter's Square is hoping to hear the famous Habemus Papam proclaimed from the balcony of the Basilica, followed by the name of their new Pope.
Well, at about 7:30 GMT, news of the election of a new pope was broken to the world. The new pontiff is Pope Francis, a 76-year-old Jesuit priest from Argentina. The new head of the over billion-strong Catholic Church is the first pope from Latin America. We hope to bring you more on that in our subsequent news bulletins. Mali's interim president John Kounda Traoré has said that revenge and reprisals will not be tolerated by Malian authorities. The caretaker head of state was addressing a two-day conference in Dakar. Traoré, as we hear in this report, also said those guilty of crimes would be prosecuted.
Mali's interim president Kounda Traoré was in Senegal for a two-day visit following a trip to Mauritania. Senegalese President Macky Sall welcomed his Malian counterpart and reiterated his country's continued support for Mali. The United Nations has accused Mali's military of carrying out revenge attacks against ethnic groups in the country. Speaking at a press conference, Kounda Traoré addressed the issue.
Politicians and local authorities are conducting an intense campaign to assure the people that revenge and reprisals will not be tolerated by Malian authorities, nor by the Malian government, nor by myself.
Mali's interim president said those guilty of atrocities would face national or international justice. However, Traoré said that Malians were not responsible for the crisis in the country.
It is not the Malians that cut off hands and feet. It is not the Malians that raped women and children. It is not the Malians that pillaged and destroyed the cultural heritage of Mali. This is something that makes a difference.
On January 11th, the French military launched an operation to oust Islamist groups that had controlled the north of the country and imposed a strict form of Sharia law.
Former Tunisian President Zain El Abidine Ben Ali has been removed from power, but Tunisia is still in the grip of political unrest. Crowds have been storming streets in the capital, Tunis, demanding greater freedoms. But the most recent unrest was sparked off by a young man who set himself alight and later lost his life. We have more in this report.
Tunisia were shaken hard once again after a young man set himself on fire in the heart of the capital and then died. Adel Khazri was pronounced dead Wednesday morning by the director of the Ben Arous Burn Center in a suburb of Tunis. On Tuesday morning, the 27-year-old selling cigarettes on the streets did the same thing that Mohamed Bouaziz had done on December 17, 2010, immolating himself in the town of Sidi Bouzid. His gesture had set off the Arab Spring revolt. On Tuesday, Adel had gone to Tunis to find work. He was heard yelling, "These are the young people selling cigarettes. This is unemployment," before setting himself on fire on the steps of the municipal theater on Avenue Habib Bourguiba in the heart of Tunis.
I went to film a girl who was beside the victim. I asked her what was happening and she said he was talking to himself and was in tears. Then he poured liquid on himself. She thought it was water, but it was flammable, and then the flame started.
In shock and pain, Adel's brother had no trouble explaining this desperate act.
He often complained to me about unemployment and poverty. He sells cigarettes from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to make 7 to 8 dinars only. We are a family of 5 and 3 are studying. He and I are renting here.
This is a stinging vote of no confidence in the government led by the Islamic Ennahda party. It drove home the issue of real priorities for new Prime Minister Ali Larayed. 2 years after the uprising against the Ben Ali regime, poverty and unemployment are rampant in this country that is experiencing full political paralysis.
Well, we now take our second break. We'll be right back.
fashion shop, Standard Chartered House, now brings you the very best ladies dress and tops, fashion jewelry, house curtains, ladies' wigs and mesh, ladies' shoes and matching bags, incense, coats and blazers for ladies, and much, much more. Wonderful men's fashion, including men's shirts and trousers. The best prices in town at KGI Fashion Shop. Go to KGI Fashion Shop for all your shopping.
Well, let's take a quick look at the weather report by the Central Forecast Office. Well, we hope to bring you the weather in tomorrow's news bulletin, but before we go, a reminder of our top stories. New Zealand is seeking the Gambia's support for its bid to secure a rotational seat on the United Nations Security Council for the period 2015-2016. The Food and Agriculture Organization has armed stakeholders in farming and forestry with skills to make significant contributions during policy dialogues at various levels. Cardinal-electors meeting at the Vatican have elected a new pontiff in the person of Pope Francis I. And the interim Malian President John Kounda Traoré has promised to prosecute those accused of committing crimes. Well, that's your bulletin for tonight. Thanks for the pleasure of your company and enjoy our programs.
From the Gambia Radio and Television Services, welcome to another sensitization program which the Independent Electoral Commission on the forthcoming local government elections. With me in the panel on my far right is Mr. Joseph Kuli from the IEC, and right in front of me on the right-hand side is Superintendent Sabo Sise, IEC Police Liaison Officer. And my co-presenter is Fatumata Simaha. I am Bernard Sane. As you've been following in our past programs, we've been discussing about the forthcoming local government elections in the local languages. And it's very important also, hence we are not staying only within only with the local language people in the Gambia. We have all other languages, especially English.